0 years ago, the Soviet Union completed the withdrawal of its troops from Afghanistan. This was preceded by 10 years of armed conflict that even the most conservative estimates claimed the lives of 600,000 people. First took in Lads Camp in Fergana, a city in eastern Uzbekistan. And from there we orderly strode into the territory of Afghanistan. Dispersed who were, for different units. This is the regiment which at the time was filming the 9th Company. It so happened that I served just at that period described in the film, participated in the military operations, called Magistral, though not in that particular battle. Of course, in the eyes of us do not always say, but was obviously glad to see us not all, we came to their land, and they were fighting, what else could be to us. This is understandable. In Afghanistan have killed many civilians. But in another way, and we could not distinguish peaceful from non-peaceful to war is not easy. Moreover, the Afghan people are kind that they dig in the ground and tomorrow mines place. When the war ended, I returned home. By profession I am a physical education teacher physiotherapist. Had to look for work, since only one worked, and massage therapist and driver and head of security. Well, the family has 3 children and now many grandchildren. Of course, after Afghanistan, I even could not think that in this life waiting for me another war. But then Maidan happened, where it all started. I was a member of the Afghan Hunud self-defense. We were neither for independence nor for power, I'd say more of a wall between protesters and police. Did everything that was not a serious collision. Well, when did the events in the east, was gradually drawn into the process and were volunteers in the battalion, Adar, where he created his assault, Afghan company that exists to this day. Kept in gravelly Novosti countries fought 15 days. We were promised reinforcements but we got it only partially. In the end were forced to retreat. From the flanks came the Russians, who were afraid that we may completely surround the Lugansk. Then, in August 2014, we were one step from having to close them in the ring. How many Afghans fought in NATO? Hard to say. With whom I crossed paths, about whom she had heard, I suspect that our guys were in almost every unit. Although not in Massachusetts quantity. A lot of them, to understand, people my age who are a little over 50, is the latest appeals, who fought in Afghanistan. We still consider ourselves relatively young, at least the arms can hold. And those who started the war is already Fakino, grandfather. Flak jacket, machine gun, ammunition, the fly grenades, you 45 pounds of extra weight. It should also have the ability to move, to run, to attack, to retreat, God forbid, is not for those over 60. In Ukraine there are hot, often young people who sometimes say about the veterans of the Afghanistan nonsense, accuse us that we took part in aggressive transactions of the USA, that we are guilty of something. It does not say it was a totalitarian state and act against it. I, for example, was a candidate member of the CSU, not because I really wanted to, but because count on any future at all without membership in the party was impossible. After Afghanistan it was difficult to imagine what would have to take up arms. I'm there so nestolal that I win friends then called hunting. I always say, guys, sorry, but let's somehow without me. But in 2014 something happened. What happened? Crimea, Donbass, everyone knows everything. We Afghan war veterans, it was not simple other exit. We saw what was happening in the east, what great losses has killed our guys. And it was clear why. The combat experience is 0. Ukraine is not Afghanistan, this is my state. The land where I was born. I defend it and will defend it. You have every right to, who would not say that? These are the values that do not change. To resolve this conflict only by political means, together with the United States, Europe and the world, to make Russia withdraw from our territory. Here we will only diplomacy. They just don't understand what it's like to take a settlement, and a forehead, and to dislodge the enemy from the city. This is an enormous number of deaths, including among civilians. About how many Russian troops is on the border and waiting for this reason, I generally keep quiet. Unfortunately, the Ukrainian army still is a slapka despite all the talk. It was deliberately destroyed for many years and we are now just starting to take the first steps toward its revival. I will say that I know not from whom, but only what he saw, the Soviet units of the sample in 1987, 1988 in Afghanistan on cooperation, liaison, artillery, aviation, combat groups, and at times surpassed the modern Ukrainian army.